Hi, I'm Shantae. I'm an athlete. I'm interested in a bunch of different sports. So here's everything I found interesting in sports this week. Gonna go straight in with Jamaica's four-man bobsled team winning gold at the North American Cup held in Whistler in Canada. What do you mean? This is low-key everything as Jamaicans we've been rooting for our entire life. This is like the first international gold medal at this like caliber that Jamaica have ever won, and it's insane. The Jamaican two-man team of Shane Pitter and Nimron Turgot also won bronze in the two-man bobsled team at the start of the tournament as well. This is insane news, and I'm sorry, this is what Cool Runnings paved the way for. Back with the Cool Runnings release, loads of brands sponsored the Jamaican bobsled team, which is why it's been able to push and go as far as it has. But winning our first ever gold medal at this level is insane. So congrats to the Jamaican bobsled team. Love to see it. We're on the 1,000-day countdown to the LA Paralympic Games. The first winners to be crowned are going to be equestrian, para-track cycling, parachuting, and wheelchair fencing, which is super exciting. And it's also going to be the first year that para-climbing is introduced to the Paralympic Games. I feel like climbing, bouldering has really seen a rise in the recent years throughout the whole throughout sports culture and general social life as well. So I'm super excited to see that in the Paralympic Games. The Paralympic Games and the Olympic Games are actually two separate federations. They receive different funding, which is why they always have different mascots and different logos as well. So you'll see Olympic athletes will get the Olympic rings tattooed on them, and then Paralympians will get Paralympic symbol tattooed on them instead. So it's just interesting. Tony Hawk is pushing for vert skating to be introduced as an exhibition sport into the LA 2028 Games. He acknowledges that it's like too late for it to be a medal sport, but he wanted it to be there as like an exhibition sport for people to see the hype and for people to see vert skating and what it's like. Obviously, skateboarding, like street and freestyle, got introduced to the Olympic Games in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, and then it was also in Paris 2024. For the British team, we had Sky Brown. She was the youngest medalist that year in 2020, winning gold for Great Britain. And in the Paris 2024 Olympics, she won silver for Great Britain as well, which was super cool. She's also a surfer, so she didn't make qualifications for the 2024 surfing Olympics. Surf event in the Olympics, but I know she's gunning for it for the 2028 in LA as well. But yeah, it would be super cool to see vert skating. Vert skating is basically, it's normally down a half pipe, which is essentially vertical. It's what you see like in Red Bull videos. It's what Tony Hawk is known for. On the topic of skating, the Gaza skate team have finally been able to access their equipment after 2.5 years of not being able to access it despite it being in Palestine. So they're out there getting steezy, doing tricks, and it's really cool to see community build like hope and enjoyment around skating. So I'm going to leave a link in the bio if anyone wants to donate money towards Gaza skate equipment, which is over in men's football. Oh my god! Arsenal are holding on so strong. What do you mean 3-1 win against Bayern Munich in the Champions League? Insane. To add to that, Chelsea went 3-0 against Barca in the Champions League. So Arsenal are still undefeated in the Champions League. Chelsea and Arsenal went head-to-head in the Prem this weekend. At the start of the week, they were first and second in the table. Man City played before, so Man City moved second. Before the game on Sunday, it was Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea. It was 0-0 until half-time. Straight out of half-time, on like the 46th minute or something like that, Trevor Chalobah came in and scored a banger for Chelsea. And the weight of my heart dropped. In the 59th minute, Marino came in and equalised it, so it was 1-1. But that was basically as much as we got. It ended in a draw, so the table stays the same for now, and Arsenal are carrying on doing well in the league. On the topic of Arsenal and on the topic of the UK star boy, Bukayo Saka proposed to his girlfriend, now fiance, and the pictures he posted on Instagram were so beautiful. She is the prettiest wag I've ever seen in my entire life. Over in women's football, Hannah Hampton, the England goalkeeper, has been voted BBC Sportswoman of the Year. Was a massive part in both the Lionesses and Chelsea's amazing seasons last year. She had 13 clean sheets out of 22 Women's Super League games, which is incredible. And then she went on to save those amazing penalties against Spain in the Women's Euros. Carrying on with the Lionesses beat China in an international friendly 8-0 at Wembley Stadium over the weekend, and they also have a friendly against Ghana at St Mary's Stadium in Southampton coming up this week. International friendlies, they've won against Australia, They won against China now. They lost against Brazil, so it'll be interesting to see how they fare against Ghana. One of the craziest things I found out this week was over in the FA Women's Cup, we've got like a LeBron and Bronny situation going on. We've got a mother who's 38 years old. Her name is Hazana Parnell, and she is representing alongside her 16-year-old daughter, Ramaya Osborne, for Hednesford Town FC. What? Like, this is crazy. They're both playing for the same team. They're saying they think alike and they just play so well together. I don't know who else in the UK we have as an example of this. Like, I know we've got like Jamie and Harry Redknapp and like the coaching, but in sports, like, we don't tend to see levels like this caliber of athletes going like head to head, like intergenerational teams. And I think it's so sick carrying on with international qualifiers, international talk with women's football. I want you all to think of a crazy score in your head of what a football game could possibly be, because the Reggae Girls, the Jamaican women's team, beat Dominica 18-0 in the Women's FIFA World Cup qualifiers. That's insane. It was 10-0 at half time, and it just kept on going and going and going and racked up to 18-0. And on top of that, 5 London stadiums have been announced for their 2035 World Cup bid. Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland and England have all pulled together to make a bid to host the Women's World Cup. And can you imagine having that on home territory? The last time the UK held the World Cup was in 1966 for the men's tournament, so it's been a while and we've been waiting for that. So going on with major competitions, the host city for the Commonwealth Games have been announced. It's going to be Ahmedabad in India for the 2030 Games. It's going to be the 100-year anniversary of the Commonwealth Games. But I do wonder, with it coming up to 100 years, not necessarily what relevance the Commonwealth Games holds, but kind of the moral questioning around the existence of the Commonwealth Games. The 2026 Commonwealth Games are being held in Glasgow in Scotland, which is super excited. It was meant to be in Victoria, Australia, but they pulled out of the running, so held over in Glasgow. So excited. Everyone book your tickets for that, so it's going to be really cool this summer. In World Athletics, China wins the Member Federation prize over Botswana. Boo. No, not boo. Congratulations to China. They low-key carried the back of 2025 for Olympic Games. They had World Athletics indoors in Nanjing, they had World Athletics relays in Guangzhou, they had 2 Diamond Leagues, 3 Platinum Label road races and a race walking event as well. In the Eastern Conference in the NBA, there was an insane play of the week. Pascal Siakam for the Pacers scored 2 points in the last 10th of a second. And they secured it. It was 101, and in that 10th of a second, Pascal scored and he brought it over to 103-101, allowing the Pacers to hold on and defeat the Bulls, which was insane. Jalen Williams has just started his season. We're something like 19 games into the NBA season right now, but he had an off-season wrist injury, so he's just coming in now. He scored 11 points for the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's not anything crazy, but he had 8 assists and 4 rebounds, so he's getting back in there. He's getting his numbers up. Over in volleyball, we had a beach volleyball tournament, which was run by the company King and Queen of the Court. This is cool because the beach season in the UK is usually over by now, but we're keeping the beach season going in the Northern Hemisphere, but coming up in Spain in December, then there's Helsinki and Stockholm at the start of 2026 as well. It's the same kind of concept of King and Queen of the Court. It goes through multiple rounds. I'll put a little link for their thing so you can read up about it. By part of like the National Sports Awards, and which is actually going to be changing their system this year. So now it's down to public voting instead of a panel of nominees for Sports Team of the Year and also Sports Personality of the Year. So there's like the Lionesses, the Red Roses, the Europe's Ryder Cup are all in there for Team of the Year. I'm backing the Lionesses to win, of course. That basically wraps up sports this week. It was a little bit of a shorter video, but hope you all enjoyed. See you soon. Mwah.